This is the plaintiff, Linda. She says the defendant coordinated a trip for her multiple sclerosis support group to Washington, D.C. to meet with President Obama and visit the White House. She paid the woman and then got confirmation which said the trip was to go to the Capitol only. When she confronted the defendant, she got the royal runaround. The defendant didn't deliver on what was promised, and she wants a full refund, which the defendant refuses, so she's suing for $359.78, the amount she paid for a trip to the White House. This is the defendant, Valerie. She says the flyer clearly states the trip the plaintiff booked was for the round-trip bus to and from Washington, D.C. from New York, and a visit to the Martin Luther King Memorial and to the Museum of African American History and dinner. The plaintiff purchased 3 tickets, then changed her mind, demanding a refund. The flyer says tickets are non-refundable. She couldn't find a last-minute replacement for her group, therefore owes her nothing. She's accused of promising one thing and delivering another.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff planned a trip for her MS support group to go to the White House and meet President Obama. And she paid the defendant for the travel and got screwed. The defendant says the plaintiff got what she paid for. It's the case of I'm looking for some green because I didn't see the green room.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Linda, you are suing Valerie. Neither of you want your last names mentioned. Doing business as Go Travel?
Gotta Go Travel.
Gotta Go Travel
Yes.
Entertainment for $359.78. Monies that you paid for 3 tickets on a bus trip to Washington, D.C. that you say you purchased under false pretenses. What happened here?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am a member of a multiple sclerosis support group, and Valerie was in charge of, I guess, organizing a tour for us to go to Washington, D.C. So she sent a flyer, which
Who
you have a
sent the
copy
flyer?
of. Valerie did.
Are you the one who sent the flyer to the group?
I submitted the flyer to the team leader,
Okay.
Yeah.
and we made copies and distributed it to everyone in the group.
Okay.
Yes, so she submitted the flyer, and on the flyer was a trip to Washington, D.C. for the day to meet the Obamas on their...
To meet the Obamas?
Yes, to a tour of the White House, and that the Obamas might
Okay.
be there.
And the Obamas are going to be there.
They might be there. We were
Might be
hoping.
there. So then
Yeah.
it's not to meet the Obamas.
No, so we were hoping that we would meet them. We had submitted a letter
Right.
to...
So let me see the paperwork that you got, the advertisement that you got that told you what you were going to do.
This is the flyer.
Is there anything else besides this? Because this doesn't say much. This is just probably the worst picture I have ever seen of President Obama. Probably the worst picture. He looks like Howdy Doody in this picture. Okay.
So that-
Was there anything else besides this?
No.
You were going to have a White House tour,
Tour,
and
yeah.
that's why you bought your ticket, because you were going to have a tour of the White House, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now I need you to prove to me that at some point she said you will have a tour of the White House.
On there, on the bottom, it says the White House tour.
It says, all right, let's see
Halloween White
this.
House tour.
It says, farewell, Obama, Halloween White House tour from New York to Washington, D.C., October 31st. Do you have page 2 of this?
I have the full flyer here.
Let me see what you've got. Was there a White House tour?
There was a tour of the outside of the White House. And
But why
all
are you calling it White House tour in this title?
It was a farewell to Obama tour.
And that's fine if it said farewell Obama Halloween tour, but you put Halloween White House tour. Why did you put that?
Because we were viewing the decorations on the White House.
Okay, this flyer here is not, she doesn't have that. This one says, we're touring from the outside, but that, can you show any evidence that that's what you sent? Can you access your emails? Did you send the email to their group leader?
The group leader was Melody.
Yes, did
And
you
I
send an
sent it-
email to the group leader?
Yes.
Pull up on your telephone the email you sent her for the flyer. That's the flyer? That's how you got the flyer to her?
I sent her the flyer.
Through email, look at me, look at me. Through email?
Through email.
Perfect. Grab your phone or your computer, whatever you have handy, bring up the email so I can see page 1 and 2 of the email that you sent to Melody.
I printed it out, so.
I want it from your computer, if you have it, or from your phone. Because when you printed it out and you hand it to me, it's just typewriting on a piece of paper, and I don't see Melody's email anywhere here. So I'd like to actually have it in email form. All right, court's in recess. Let's get this.
So what's cooler, seeing the White House or seeing Air Force One?
Oh, seeing Air Force One by far.
Why do you say?
Because being in a big jet that's been just decked out to a luxury.
There's only one White House, right?
I mean, Air Force One, it's exclusive. Anyone can go see the White House. You can walk by it. You can't always see Air Force One, especially to go inside. Like, that's.
Ma'am?
The White House, only if Obama's there.
Well, he's not there, is it there?
Well, then Air Force One.
I hate to tell you what happened 2 years ago, but man, going inside the courtroom.
Were you able to find the very flyer that we're talking about, that email that you sent on September 9th?
I'm going to tell you, I originally talked to Melody. Everything was pretty much through conversation.
That's not true. When I got off this bench, you told me you sent an email.
Yes, I have an email that I sent her showing her where I made an attempt for us to go, for an invitation to go into the White House.
I have a
Those are
person
the emails
who says that you represented in an email that was advertised. This is her position. Either Melody made a mistake and said there was a White House tour, or you made a mistake and said we're going to tour the White House, okay? I need to see, because her allegation is that there was a misrepresentation or a misunderstanding or whatever, and that if she wasn't doing a White House tour and you know, getting to say goodbye personally to Obama, she didn't want to go. Now, I need to see what you sent. So if you don't show me an email, it's because what's in there you don't want me to see. That's my worry. You told me before I left the bench earlier, before the recess,
Yes.
I sent Melody an email. Show me the email.
This is the email that I sent Melody.
Okay, no. This is an email you sent Melody telling her that your attempt to get a White House tour was a day late and $1 short, because you cannot send an email in October to the White House or to a congressman and say, hey, we're going to be there in a couple of weeks, hope to see the president. You have to plan those White House tours 3-4 months before. So this is where you failed to get the White House tour. What I'd like to see is what you advertised, because if you advertised a White House tour, you're giving the woman her money back. And I'm starting to think you did, because I see this. But if you didn't advertise a White House tour, you don't have to give her a penny back. So just show me the original flyer you sent to Melody to garner interest. She says you sent it September 9th or just before that. Why is this so hard?
Because we didn't email, Your Honor. We actually.
Well, how is she going to get her group interested if you don't send a flyer?
Because I came to their meetings. It was right. I did it in person.
So why did you lie to me a moment ago and tell me that you sent an email?
But I do send emails. I have a bunch of emails that I spoke to send to email.
You emailed it.
I presume that I sent Melody an email with the flyer.
So I didn't imagine it.
No,
right.
I presumed
Can you find
I did.
That email?
I did not send her. I walked right to the center and I gave her the email because I live in the neighborhood. So I gave her the flyer.
And your testimony is that you were told you would have a White House tour.
Yes, Judge.
And what about Melody? We weren't able to reach Melody and get.
See,
I'm
Melody
sorry,
died 2 weeks after we returned.
Oh,
Yes, yep.
I'm so sorry.
And Melody was the president of the MS Finest.
Why did you say our president? You're not, but you're not in that.
No,
Okay.
but I had joined the group because I was going to be their personal travel agent, sending them to different locations, taking them to different travel locations.
So your first contact with her was at a meeting,
Yes.
and she spoke for about 10 minutes,
About 10 minutes.
discussing what it is you guys wanted to do.
Right. Basically, and saying that we're going to go
Okay.
to the White House tour.
A few weeks later, according to what you're saying here, she sent an email indicating we have a reservation for the White House. Do you have that
Correct.
email?
No. She had just called me telling me that we have reservations.
I called her to say I didn't think the email was from the White House.
Right,
The
because-
Capitol and the White House were two separate buildings, I told her. She assured me it was from the White House, saying she had spoken to someone at the White House and we were confirmed. I had already given her my charge card information, but told her I would only go if we had tickets for the White House tour. Did she tell you I would only go if we have tickets for the White House tour?
No, she did not.
And also, Judge, you could see on there that I have a printout from the Capitol, and it is on
It
the
is
same,
a Capitol tour.
and it was also on the same day, on the 31st of October.
Right.
So I said, how can we do the White House and the Capitol tour?
Well, it'll be a
on the
long
same-
day. Yeah, you know what? I think there's enough of a question here where I'm going to order you to return the money. I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $355, okay? You're a businesswoman. You're supposed to keep whatever it is that you advertise. The fact that this is kind of like 2 pictures and farewell Halloween bus tour on the one you're handing me, but on the one you sent to her that she did keep the first page of, it says White House tour. That's enough for me to go ahead and order her money returned. $355, verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, it's been 2 years, but the plaintiff is finally going to get her money back. Valerie, you know, you could have avoided this by having a copy of that brochure you sent to her. Why didn't you bring one?
In actuality, when I did the second year, I used the same brochure, and I just
Why didn't you
added
bring
the
a
second
copy of
year.
that?
I do have it. She wouldn't allow me to submit it.
Well, did you say White House tour?
A Capitol tour. It was a tour. We were touring the outside of the White House,
Well,
and the
it's-
whole thing was the
unfortunately,
African American
It's your
Museum.
mistake for not improving it, you know?
Gotcha.
You understand?
Got you.
Okay, you got it. Okay, good enough. Now here comes Valerie, the plaintiff. Come on out here, Valerie. Turn her around so we can take a look at her. It's been a long time. You're going to get your money back.
Yes, I'm happy.
It's-
Yes, it took 2 years.
It's the principle, right?
Yes, it is the principal. It's not the amount. It was $330. It is the principal.
Feel better now?
I'm elated that I'm finally going to be vindicated.
Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
for you for doing it, okay? Sticking to your guns. All right, you can leave the courtroom now. Thank you very much. And with that, Harvey, we will bring this case to a close. What do you think?
Okay, Doug, well, look, the key here is what we call in the law a failure of consideration. It's the core of the contract. The point of the whole trip was to see the White House, and when that didn't happen, the contract fails. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.